Okay, everybody, if you're a member of the Guam Police Department, it's not always about rolling around in the police cruisers with the sirens blaring and busting criminals and, breaking up fights and stuff like that and stopping riots. And that is a very important part of their job. But also what GPD does is they make sure that kids are aware that this is their community and give them something positive to do. Sergeant Paul Tapao with Guam Crime Stoppers is here, and we are going to talk about a recent event, Sarge, that you guys did that was fun for everybody, including you guys.
Oh, absolutely. We had a great time. And, we kicked off, or, no pun intended, but we launched our first ever Fade Away from Violence, Choose to be Drug and Alcohol-Free Kickball Tournament exclusively for our elementary schools with GDOE. And with this event, we did 2 legs, and we had 16 teams to come out and over 300 athletes, over 100 volunteers from the high school. So we really worked with DOE in making sure that it was centric towards our kids within DOE. And we were, in our first event, our first leg, what we did was we put together a form of static display information booths where parents can come out, talk to service providers, non-government organizations about how they can be a part of their child's life. And having that much participants, having that much athletes, having that much volunteer, it really is testimony that the community is taking a step forward in providing that safe alternative lifestyle of choice through sports. And, it was great to be a part of that.
I was going to say, because this is something that's near and dear to both of our hearts, because using sports as a vehicle to promote a positive message to young people, when you do that, it really, really resonates. Because some kids can just be like, okay, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to have some fun, kickball and everything like that. But how did the young people actually receive that message about, hey, this is fun, we get to be out in the sunshine, you get to meet new people, have a blast, but at the same time, there's a bunch of stuff in the world that can really get you into a lot of trouble and really even threaten your life.
Yeah, absolutely, and you hit it in the head. How do we use sports as a vehicle? And first what we did was, when we sold it to the schools, we went to each school, our officers went into the schools, and they partook in a small pickup game with the kids. But we left it to the schools to make sure that the kids that they chose were the right representative of their schools. And it was more of the ambassador, the stewardship of the school and everything. But we've incorporated through sports as a life coach and everything, good decision-making skills. And we showcase how if you make good decision-making skills on the field, you can apply that on life or in your classroom, or any type of obstacles that come your way, any type of challenges, life challenges that come your way. How do you make good decision skills? Because really, we were looking at what's the message and what we're going to do, and we focus on decision-making skills. And what better avenue than sports? Because I always stress that. I'm always yelling that in the field or in the pitch. Hey, that was a good decision, poor decision, and everything. And we all know the rewards that come out of good decision-making skills on the pitch or in the field. You get a goal and you get a scoring opportunity. Same thing in life. And we found ourselves talking to the kids. We found ourselves motivating the kids. We found ourselves, our officers from our juvenile investigators, talking to the kids, giving them words of encouragement, because we had kids who really put their heart and soul into it, and they suffered a defeat. But it didn't end there. Our officers came out and they were like encouraging the students, and we showed them to positive intervention that, there's good that's coming out of this. So again, thank you to all the schools who participated. Thank you to all the athletes and, of course, the volunteers.
You can still do your best, and you may have lost the game, but if you stay away from drugs and alcohol, then you win at life.
Absolutely, and that was our message and what we're trying to do, and what we did for that event is because when we had our service providers out there, but when we had them engaging in the sporting event, we had people from, we had all sorts of ethnic background, family members coming out, cheering on, and them being a part of that. And my wife, who's a teacher by trade and by heart, she was really taken back by the fact that we had our FSM families, our FSM brothers and sisters out there cheering on their respective child in the sporting competition. So it really was testament of what we did and how we did it and how we approached it, where we provided an opportunity for these kids to engage in something positive. And again, it really was the community coming forward in this and giving us that venue and giving us that opportunity to showcase what we can all do as a community.
Okay, now was this a one-time shot event, or is this the first of many that's going to happen?
This is going to be, I guess, the perpetual trophy that was presented. And, I want to recognize the 2 final teams that made it to the championship, JQ San Miguel, and of course our champions for 2018 goes to CL Taitono Elementary. And
with that,
yeah, they have the hardware to prove it. And that perpetual trophy, what we want to do is we want to bring that so that we can use that as an incentive for the schools and the students to look for something to look forward to.
So the same trophy, you're going to pass it around every year?
Yes, absolutely.
Like the Stanley Cup.
Absolutely.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, that perpetual trophy.
Sports, dude.
Absolutely. And you know, with sports, you know, how do we incorporate this, right? And I was telling some of the teachers and some of the coaches, you can use this as a behavior modification. You give the kids an incentive, something to work forward to. You give them that opportunity to represent their school. Not only you're setting precedents with the upperclassmen, but you're also setting expectations now with your primary grades that I want to be this. I want to represent my school. So I think we're on to something good, and we want to see, our foresight way of thinking is how are we going to up one on what we did over. But again, you know, that's going to be coming down to the planning. But you know, we want to take in the all the positive feedback that we got from the event, and of course everything and all the agencies that collaborated their work in making this possible. All
right, well, we do have a little bit of business to get to, so what's this week's crime of the week?
This week, unfortunately, is a purse snatching that occurred down in Tumon.
Okay, that is not cool. Let's make Guam's tourism capital be the happiest place for everybody. I lived there for a very long time. That is my neighborhood. Let's get the information you can use.
On Wednesday, October 17, at around 11 o'clock in the morning, officers from the Tumon Precinct Command entertained a robbery complaint that occurred on Fajita Road in Tumon. According to the police report, the victim, a female tourist, was walking on the roadway of Fajita Road by the Tumon Trade Center when a vehicle, later described as a silver Toyota Corolla, drove beside the victim as the driver of the car reached out and pulled the purse from the victim's shoulder. The vehicle was seen by witnesses exiting Fajita Road and proceeded to travel west on Route 14, Chalan Salvatoris in Tumon. The victim only described the suspect being bald and having a dark complexion. Now, the Guam Police Department and the Guam Crime Stoppers is asking the help from the community relative to this case. If anyone has any information about this crime or any other crime, you can call our 24-hour hotline at 477-HELP, that's 4357, or submit a tip online at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. All calls will remain completely confidential, and a cash reward of up to $1,000 could be paid if the information provided leads to an arrest and a grand jury indictment. Your call does make a difference.
Okay, so if people want more information about the kickball of it, it's a super long name. You can say it again because I can't even remember that many words. That's why I have the teleprompter. But how can people get more information about that if they'd like to even volunteer next time or help out?
Get involved with the school. You know, again, we've established a partnership with DOE, and you know, the beautiful thing about it was that we network with the high school kids, and we want to incorporate now our middle school kids. How do you help out? Be that peer mentor group that's going to help support our elementary kids to make good decision making. So get involved with DOE. You know, we're going to continue to work with DOE with more programs. You know, again, everything is geared towards sports. But again, this event wouldn't have been possible without the partnership with the Department of Education, Department of Parks and Recreation, our partners with Micronesian Resources, the Sinahanya Mayor's Office, Barragatan Mayor's Office, and of course the Dedalum Mayor's Office, and our special donors who made this happen. You know, there's a lot to mention, and I apologize if I don't mention everybody, but you know, LMS, Bob Salas, you know, always telling me pay it forward. You know, EMI and everything, and of course Quick Space for being our trophy providers and helping us with our logistics. So thank you to the community. Thank you to the Tizan High JROTC program, GW's JROTC program, and of course the Department of Correction for making sure that the fields that they played on were immaculate, and it was beautiful. I mean, you had to come out and see it and everything.
Well, we can't wait for part 2.
I'm excited. You know, the planning, you know, we're in the planning stage, so be looking out for that. You know, part 2 is going to come up shortly, so you know, keep in tabs with your school and, of course, with the Department of Education.
All right. Outstanding. Sarge, we thank you so much.
Thanks for having me again.
All right. Thank you for watching. We are back right after this.